Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Going to bring my bro Chilmont in today. Want to talk a little bit about the Vols. Of course, we're going to discuss NCAA, talk a little bit of recruiting, and just kind of get his opinion on it. It's been a few days since I've had him, almost a week, I guess. And I definitely want to get his opinion into the show. All right, Chilmont, what did you think of the NCAA ruling that came down Friday? I guess it was about 11 a.m. They gave us 2 hours notice with the 28 scholarships, no bowl ban, 8 million smackaroos, and of course what they did with Jeremy and the coaches and all that. Give me your opinion on all that good stuff.
Well, like I said, it could have been a little worse, but it could have been a lot better actually. I think they hammered us pretty good, and a huge fine. That's a big darn fine. It's going to be almost 9 million when it's all said and done, which basically kind of indirectly we're having to pay Pruitt pretty much. I was surprised he got the 6-year show cause, but with we're going to have to vacate some wins, sounds like, during the Pruitt era, which we didn't have that many wins during his era. What do we have, like 16 wins?
We were 16 and 19.
Yeah. I don't know how many of those we're going to have to vacate between that and the fine. And then we'll lose some more scholarships, even though we already gave up, what was it, 14?
16 plus 2 more this year. And then we're going to have to do 10 more over 5 years.
Yeah. And so that's
2 a year.
Plus some additional restrictions on visits and recruiting and all that. So, I mean, they still hammered us pretty good. It's funny. You pointed out yesterday that Pat Forte article, which, can we just say it? He's a total doucher. I mean, come on. I mean, cut that out if you want to, or leave it in. I'm totally own it, and I'm proud I said.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
But then I read an article on A to Z that said that it went the exact opposite way and said they were way too hard on us.
Well, 4 days got it out for us. He's still upset about the Greg Schiano thing. He will never forgive us for that.
No mercy.
And that's why every chance he gets to smack on us, he does it every single time. I don't know if he was real tight with that guy, that coach. Maybe he was. I think he's a buddy of his or something, but he's just real put off by it.
Yeah.
And he's got tremendous bias.
Oh, go look at the coach's hot seat website and see who's in like the top 6. Mr. Schiano.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So
that was one of the reasons they didn't want to hire him, because he had failed down there at Tampa Bay with the Buccaneers. He was actually a pro football coach, and the players didn't like him.
Yeah.
So and he failed. So I mean, what are you doing?
And we have who I think is one of the best coaches in the country right now, thank goodness. And I think the sky's the limit for Heupel as we're sitting here.
Well, it definitely we got actually lucky when it's all said and done. The way it played out is that we got to get rid of Pruitt. Didn't have to pay him. Okay, well, the penalty probably offsets that, and then we luck into Josh Heupel, which was the best hire imaginable. And it just shows you how important the coach is when it comes to NCAA football. I mean, it's just critical that you get the right coach.
Yeah, I mean, ask Alabama, ask Georgia, ask whoever. It's everything. It's your recruiting, it's your fundamentals, it's your assistant coaches, which is huge. The best coaches can get the best assistants. And it all just kind of snowballs.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Georgia's going to have great recruits no matter who's there, but Tennessee needs a really good coach because our footprint's not as good as LSU, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. So we've got to have a unique, really good coach. And of course, we have the best fan base in the country.
Yeah.
And we do get virtually anybody we want out of the state of Tennessee, which is becoming a better footprint with Nashville's growth and Knoxville's growth, but especially Nashville's growth.
Well, I just, real quickly, just mention one thing, and that they pointed that out in that A to Z article, or in a different one, that Pruitt, to his credit, as they were wrapping things up during the hearings, he stood up and said, you guys are going to do what you're going to do. But I think in no way, shape, or form should any current players receive any kind of penalty, anything, or any bowl ban based on what happened before. Yeah, and that was Pruitt's own words, which, I mean, he's still a conehead as far as I'm concerned and a goober, but at least he had the wherewithal to do that.
Well, he was always a player's coach. I mean, you can tell that by handing out 60 grand. He did. He liked the players and tried to care about them. So that I'm really not shocked by that. Plus, it makes him look good. And look, he walked out of there knowing he's done. Okay. He knew he was going to get hammered. I said I thought he'd get at least 5 years and that he might even get a 10. Well, he wound up getting 6. The 5 I thought was the minimum because they'd given the other coaches like 3 or 4 and they cooperated. They went ahead and cut the deal, and I'm going, this guy's going to fight all the way, and he's done. This thing's done.
Well, that's what really cost him, and the reason we did not get the bowl ban, because I would think they would have done this if they hadn't changed the bylaw there at the NCAA.
Definitely.
And said that, we're going to do everything we can not to punish current players for stuff that happened maybe years in the past. And if the NCAA would have been quicker at that, then, we probably would have been in a lot more trouble, with all the time that's passed. Of course, on the other side of the coin is it took them 11 months to come down with this. Come on. They could have done this in a week. I mean, for crying out loud.
They're going to operate at their own speed. They're going to do everything the way they want it. And if you don't like it,
which is glacier slow.
they could exactly. I mean, 3 years to do this. Look, they investigated Syracuse for over 10 years on a basketball issue. And kept a cloud over them. And the other thing is, like I say, we don't have that cloud over our recruiting anymore. No longer can a coach say, well, if you go there, you may get hit with all kinds of bowl bans and everything else. I mean, you could be stuck.
Yeah, everybody has to shut up about that now. It's just the fear of the unknown now that's over.
Yeah, all that's over with, big time.
Yeah, thankfully. But when you mentioned recruiting, though, and the one thing I was going to say, I can hardly think of a top recruit here in the past really year that we haven't been in on. And how long has it been since that's been the case? I mean, for so long, we weren't in on any 5 stars and very few 4 stars. And now we're in on everybody. We're on everybody's list.
Yeah, the thing is, we got to start winning more to land them, though.
Yeah,
because we're going up against Alabama and Georgia and Clemson and teams like that have won national titles recently, and so they've got that big. And plus, on top of that, a lot of those players are coming out of Georgia and Alabama and Florida and places like that. And that hometown pull or home state pull is huge.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to start winning national titles like Clemson's able to get a lot of really good players because they've got those natties.
The Alabama, Georgia, Florida, those are the hotbeds coming out of high school of the top recruits. Yeah, I think does Alabama have like 9 5 stars now or something ridiculous?
They did last year. They've only got 3 this year so far, but they're going to end up with at least 6.
Okay, it was last year.
That's how they roll. They don't recruit, Wilmont. They draft.
Well, true. Yeah.
They're like an NFL team.
Yeah, and they got money down there to burn. So they've got a lot of long-time donors and big money guys down there.
Well, this hurt Alabama more than anybody because they wanted Jeremy Pruitt as defensive coordinator again. Yeah, he got an old guy that what's his name? Steele, Kevin Steele.
Yeah.
And that guy, that was not his first choice. He wanted Jeremy Pruitt. And then he wound up getting Tommy Rees from Notre Dame. That was not his first choice.
He'd take Pruitt back tomorrow.
He was ready to hire him. He tried to hire him a few months ago, but this NCAA thing just became too much of a problem. Believe me, I actually covered that. The Bama, the online Bama standard or whatever it's called, I can't remember. They were like, man, we got to get him back in here. Everybody was all excited about it. They were all juiced about it. It's not going to happen.
I think that's a big part of the reason why Fulmer hired him to begin with was generally a multi-year national championship winning defensive coordinator is a hot commodity as a potential head coach for teams that are trying to had to fire a coach or whatever. But The problem was if all you had to do is talk to him for 10 minutes, and you
Yeah,
realize,
his interview skills are terrible. They're
yeah,
just terrible. I mean, you can whenever he was in front of a camera, you're like, oh crap,
yeah, he was.
this guy's not the right dude.
I,
Yeah.
I, I.
Yeah, it wasn't too pretty. So
No,
I think we came out of this as good as we could hope. I'm not concerned about
probably.
we'd already taken the brunt of the hit on the scholarships anyway.
Yeah.
So really, all we got hit with was 10 more scholarships is what we got hit with. That's it.
Well, and the good thing, I mean,
what the heck? And the $8 million bucks. Look, they're spending $500 million right now on various things. That $8 million is not that big a deal, and they don't have to pay Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah, the Neyland Stadium renovations and the baseball field renovations and all that. You're talking what, a couple
hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
it's so much money, you just almost can't believe it.
Yeah, that's almost the beer sales at Neyland for a season. So, not that big a deal.
No, it's not. So we came out.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about recruiting here, Wilmot, a little bit. We did miss out on Braylon Russell out of Arkansas. He wound up picking his home state. I was not shocked by this because of the Steve Wiltfong, where he did the crystal ball after talking to him, and then he pulled it down within an hour. Obviously, Braylon didn't want him to do that. So, and then he came out and he put a picture of himself in a UT uniform right out there on Twitter and got Arkansas all tore up. But I had a bad feeling about that as soon as that occurred. I actually put a video out saying exactly that. It's like, oh, this is getting real dicey.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was no fault of ours, thankfully. So there's no ill will there or anything like that, I don't think. It's not like we screwed it up. It was kind of the crystal ball guy. And yeah, once he started taking heat for that Twitter thing, I think that pretty much decided he better stick around.
The guy that we really need is Kai Bates. So Kai Bates would be a great get for us, a very strong 4-star cornerback. That's where we need the help the most is defensive backfield. I know we've got a couple of really good guys in Boo Carter and Caleb Beasley. We've already got 2 really good defensive backs right there that can play corner and safety. And if we could pick up Kai Bates, that would be fantastic. That would be excellent. Then we got Edwin Spillman, who's going to announce on the 21st, an in-state linebacker, a guy that on Josh and Swain, it was Swain said that he is an absolute freak athlete. We need to get this dude. Yeah, he absolutely loves him. So there's a guy. And then, of course, Amari Jefferson, the wide receiver, I've covered him. And then Danny Okoye and several others. But a lot of that's going on, and we'll have a big week coming up. And then I think a lot of these guys are going to commit before the season. And what are we down to, like 40-some-odd days, like 42, 43?
Yeah, it's not long. It's I think exciting. We're 48 days, something like that.
Is it? It's not long. Now, that may be for us 48, but I think there's a few games before.
Yeah. There's some early games. Yeah, it won't be long. It'll be fall practice in like what, 2 or 3 weeks.
Now, wouldn't it be great to have like a game every week? Like, I don't know, like Florida versus Utah, and then next week do like an Alabama, Georgia or something. I mean, you're talking about, can you imagine the views if for the first 4 weeks you had like an early preseason that counted and you went with every week one big SEC game? That thing would get 30 million views because everybody's so hungry for football.
Oh, God, at least.
All right, folks, I just wanted to bring my bro in, Chilmot, and discuss all these things. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's be able to continue to cover the Vols and the SEC and all these things, and hopefully no more with the NCAA. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit that little button. I would appreciate it. And right over here's the most recent video. Be sure to check that one out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.